Hello everybody, it's Keagan here. I'm back with another video for you guys, and welcome to another edition of Keagan's Movie Reviews. And today we're actually going to be talking about three movies this time around. And the three movies we're going to be talking about in this video are part of a trilogy. And the trilogy in question is the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which this trilogy consists of The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Now, all three films are directed by Peter Jackson and are based on the novels from the 1950s that were written by J.R.R Tolkien, which the novels are considered by many to being one of the greatest fantasy novels of all time. It's up there with the likes of the Harry Potter novels and A Song of Ice and Fire or Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. And the films, the film adaptations, are pretty big films. They are definitely one of the biggest films from the 2000s and are considered to being one of the greatest trilogies of all time. So of course in this video I will talk about the films and give my thoughts on them. So without further ado, let's take a dive into the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Starting off with the first film, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, which was directed by Peter Jackson, who, like I said earlier, directed all three films in the trilogy. And this film was released on December 19th, 2001. Now, before we get any further into this video, I just would like to point out that the first time I watched these films, I watched the theatrical versions for all three of these films. And I recently rewatched all three of these films a couple weeks ago. And when I rewatched them, I watched the extended cut versions of all three films. So I just wanted to point that out. But anyways, back to the review. Now, The Fellowship of the Ring takes place in the fictional world of Middle-earth, and it follows a hobbit named Frodo, played by Elijah Wood. And Frodo is on a quest that was given to him by a wizard named Gandalf, played by Ian McKellen. And Gandalf orders Frodo to go on a quest to travel to the dangerous lands of Mordor to climb the mountain known as Mount Doom, to destroy a ring, what's called the One Ring to rule them all. Now, the One Ring to rule them all, or just the ring, was created by the evil Sauron that brought destruction and war around Middle-earth. Despite being defeated, the spirit of Sauron lives on in the tower in Mordor. And so Frodo sets out on his quest along with his friends and allies they make during the quest to travel to Mordor to go to Mount Doom and destroy the ring. Now, the reason they got to travel that far is because now there's a quote in this movie: "The ring was made in Mount Doom, it'll be destroyed in Mount Doom." They couldn't destroy it from breaking it in half with an axe or anything like that. It has to be destroyed in the fiery pits of the lava of Mount Doom. While along the way, during their journey, they have to fight off goblins, orcs, and all the evil forces that try to stop them from reaching Mount Doom, and try to stop the dark forces that want to take the ring and return it to Sauron. If they fail the quest, Sauron will destroy the world if he gets his ring back. So it's up to them to fight off all the dark forces that surround them, that prevent them from going any further. And that's basically the storyline of the film in a nutshell. Now, The Fellowship of the Ring was a great start to the trilogy, and I know you're going to hear me say this a lot in this review, saying great and stuff like that. But I really love the score in this movie. Like, the score by Howard Shore is phenomenal. Has some really good cinematography, some really great visuals, and a lot of the green screen for this movie is really well done and still holds up to today, I'd say. And it has some really great special effects, especially the makeup and stuff for the orcs and other creatures in this film. It looks so much better than the CGI they used in the Hobbit movies, I'd say. And the battle sequences, and you're going to hear me say this a lot for all three of the movies, but the battle sequences are epic and they're well choreographed. Like for the battle sequences, they were just epic, and they're really faithful. It's really faithful to the novel too. I have read all three of the novels a long time ago, and the novels are great. But yeah, it's overall a really, really great film and a great first film to the trilogy. But I don't really have anything else to add before we move on to the second film. So I'm just going to give The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, an 8.5 out of 10. And now we move on to the second film of the trilogy, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, which originally was released on December 18th, 2002. So almost a year and 1 day after the release of the first film. And this film, it gets even better in the trilogy. And let's talk about the storyline. Now, The Two Towers picks up immediately after where the Fellowship of the Ring ends, and the Fellowship is broken. All the members of the group are all separated. Frodo and Sam, played by Elijah Wood and Sean Astin, they continue to make their way to Mordor on their own. While on the way, they encounter a creature named Smeagol, or Gollum, whatever you want to call him, who is voiced by Andy Serkis. And Smeagol, or Gollum, whatever the hell you want to call him, offers to help Frodo and Sam get to Mordor a lot faster as they continue to get closer and closer to Mordor, to Mount Doom. However, Smeagol may or may not be a creature you should trust, and may try to screw them over after. Well, I'm not going to give away any spoilers. But meanwhile, the other members of the group, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gandalf, which Gandalf is played by Ian McKellen, Aragorn is played by Viggo Mortensen, and Legolas is played by Orlando Bloom. Though the others are preparing for the War of the Ring that is beginning to brew as Sauron gets stronger and stronger with more allies, and everyone is trying to prepare for the war against Sauron. That they may or may not have a chance to defeat Sauron, because Sauron's army is getting stronger with more orcs, humans, and other creatures that are loyal to Sauron. But can the good guys stop Sauron? Well, that's basically the storyline of the film in a nutshell, without giving away too many spoilers. Now, The Two Towers is a great sequel and a great second film of the trilogy. And like I said earlier, it gets better and better. It gets even better in this film. There's more epic battles, and the music, like I said, for the first film is absolutely phenomenal from Howard Shore. And it's just an epic film with some great cinematography, great visuals, and some great special effects too, like the first film. And it's just a damn good second film in the trilogy. And I believe this film was nominated for some Academy Awards, same what the first one was too, I believe. I can't really remember. But it's just a damn good second film in the trilogy, and it's just, I don't really have anything else to add, but it's just a damn good sequel. And I'm going to give Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers an 8.6 out of 10. Now we finally made it to the third and final, and what also many people consider being the best film of the trilogy, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, which originally was released on December 17th, 2003, released almost a year and 1 day after the second film, and almost 2 years and 2 days after the first film. And this film was nominated for 11 Academy Awards at the Oscars and won all 11 of them, including Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Picture, which makes it the second film that's part of a trilogy or a series that to win Best Picture at the Oscars. The first film being The Godfather Part 2, of course. And this film is also the longest film of the trilogy, if you include the theatrical cut and the extended cut, which the extended cut is almost 4.5 hours. And holy shit, is it long, but it is well worth the watch. So, let's talk about the film. Now, The Return of the King picks up immediately after The Two Towers ends, and it has all the allies coming together to fight off against Sauron's army for the last time, and the war for the ring has just begun. Meanwhile, Frodo and Sam continue to get closer and closer to Mount Doom in Mordor in order to complete their quest and destroy the ring. However, Sam begins to realize that they shouldn't be trusting Smeagol or Gollum as he plots to kill Frodo and Sam and run away with the ring, or as what he calls his precious. And well, that's basically the storyline of the film in a nutshell. Now, moments ago, I said that a lot of people regard this film as being the best film of the trilogy. Well, honestly, I got to agree with that. It is easily the best film of the trilogy, and it's the most epic film of the trilogy. It's even better than the first two. And in my opinion, it deserved winning Best Picture at the Oscars in 2004. It's got more battles. It's got epic music like the first two films did. It's phenomenal. Has some great special effects, great visuals, great cinematography. The acting is phenomenal. Everybody in this film does a great job. And I forgot to include that when I was talking about the first two films, but that's okay. And overall, it's just an epic film. It's just one of the best films ever made. And it's definitely one of the greatest sequels to any film I've ever seen. Well, third film wise, of course. And it's just an epic conclusion to a really great trilogy. And like, what else can you say? It's just a damn good movie, and definitely a way to wrap up a trilogy. And I don't have anything negative to say about this film at all. It's just a damn good film, and it's just epic. And it's really faithful to its source material too. And if you plan to watch the Lord of the Rings films for the first time, I would recommend watching I would watch the theatrical versions first, but I would watch the extended cut versions. You wouldn't regret the extended cut versions. And as for the extended cut version of this movie, while it is long as hell, it is worth the watch. Like, the extended cut version of this movie, well, of all three movies, the extended cut versions are worth the watch. But I don't really have a whole lot else to add other than The Return of the King is definitely the best film of the trilogy, and it's just an epic film and an epic end to an epic trilogy. So I'm going to give The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King a 9 out of 10. So there you go. That's my review of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now, I know there was a prequel trilogy that came out in the 2010s, which was the Hobbit trilogy. I have seen all three of the Hobbit movies a long time ago, but I haven't seen them since I watched them. I probably will try to rewatch those movies one day and do a review of them in another video. I can't promise if I'll review them this year, but I will definitely review the Hobbit films one day. I know a lot of people regard the Hobbit movies as not being as good as the Lord of the Rings films. But I remember enjoying them for what they were, but they were definitely nowhere near as good as the Lord of the Rings movies. But like I said, I will review the Hobbit movies one of these days. But yeah, that's about all I have to say. So that's about it for this video. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more videos like this. And feel free to share this video with your friends, family, or whoever. And follow me on my other social medias like Instagram and so on. The links are in the description down below like they always are. And what do you guys think of the Lord of the Rings trilogy? Let me know in the comment section below. And what's your favorite film in the trilogy? But yeah, so that's about it. That's all I have to say. So thanks again for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. And until next time, this is Keagan Shepherd signing off. Thanks for watching. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everybody. Peace out.